Hey everyone! In this video, I'm going to be unboxing all the curriculum for my son's third grade year. I only have one son who is going to be homeschooled for the 2026-2027 school year. I feel like I just made this video for second grade for this previous school year. I can't believe I'm already making this again for third grade, but here we are. And I have most of the things in here are already opened, but I have my knife here because some of them are not. So I'm gonna go through every subject and share what I got for next school year. There's a couple or maybe a few that I've changed or that I'm gonna add. Okay, first I'll do language arts. So this one that I just pulled out this is gonna be something new. So now that he's entering third grade, I would like for him to start learning cursive. So I went ahead and ordered from Logic of English this handwriting book, and I'm just realizing how thick it is. It's pretty thick. It's called The Rhythm of Handwriting. So what I did was I looked through so many programs, their sample pages online, and there was so many, surprisingly, that I didn't like the style of writing. A lot of it just looks like regular print, but then they just kind of add, you know, that attachment little line after, which I didn't like that. It didn't look as flowy as how I remember learning cursive when I was a kid. And I know things are changing, you know, now in these newer generations, they kind of like made cursive, they try to make it a lot easier for them to learn. But I just don't like how that looks. I think that's too close to real print. And I want him to learn to make it that more flowy, really pretty handwriting. So, I mean, I don't need him learning calligraphy or anything, but I really liked the way this looks. So I just pulled from the middle of the book, and you can kind of get an idea of, you know, the way the cursive looks. And it just looks really pretty and flows nicely. There's some big letters here. So yeah, even just looking through it right now in person, I'm really loving like the Z. You know, that's how I remember doing Z's. So yeah, I'm really pleased already with what I see here. Just so many pages of practice with one letter at a time, and then they have pages where they'll combine with the words. Here's a whole page of just words. So, but along with that book, my packages are sliding toward me. Along with that, this one's a lot thinner, but I got this cursive book. This is from Carson, Dellosa. It says Skills for School Beginning Cursive Grades 2 to 3. This is again just another book that I thought the cursive style, I liked it. So let me turn to a page to give an idea. So what I'm seeing from here is that this seems like a little more of an advanced practice, whereas this goes from the very beginning to like it shows you each letter, and it will have him practice each letter first, lots of practice there before moving on to words. Whereas this one, and which makes sense because it says grades 2 to 3, they start with words. They already start having them, like this one is a full sentence that they have to copy, and then here's some words. Sorry, I'm trying to get this in frame. Kind of hard when I can't see it, but just some examples of sentences and words that they have to copy. Oh, I'm also noticing they have some stickers in here. So that's always really fun. Good incentives there. And yeah, they just go through the alphabet, and I really liked, again, my main thing was the style of cursive. The next thing I'm gonna show is for spelling. So if you've been following me, you'll know that for the early years, I want to say first grade, we were doing Soaring with spelling, and then I switched that over to Memoria Press spelling for second grade, and I really did like it. There was a lot of things that I thought it was good that they were teaching, like it's like the way that you would read it in a dictionary, I thought would be very helpful. There were some things about the Memoria Press that I thought were a little bit too much, to be honest. I thought the amount of words, because there was a lot, there was like 15, I think, spelling words a week. I didn't mind that, but the practice sheets in between I thought were a little bit much. It felt drawn out sometimes. I think that with spelling, my opinion, and from what I've noticed for my son, is that if you could just repetitively spell out the word, even if it's through a workbook, you'll start to memorize how it's spelled. And I kind of realized with Memoria Press that it doesn't have to be so challenging. It can be more fun, and you could still memorize through practice of writing it out. And I feel like Soaring with spelling was more simple and it's more fun. And I think that's all he'll need to remember how to spell the words, is just repetitively through the little fun worksheets that they have in here. And another thing I really like too is that it includes vocabulary. Memoria Press kind of did too. It did, but I don't know. The worksheets, the style here is just more fun. So I'm gonna open it up. And what this comes with is this workbook. There's no teacher's guide. It's not necessary because every lesson, it's kind of like already in this book for the students. But it does come also with an answer key if you need it. But let me go to a lesson and give an example. Here's lesson 8. And you can see that it starts with the concept, or with, you know, whatever it is that they're learning that week, from the set of words. So for example, it says forming the plural of words by adding s or es. And then it gives you the concept here, and then it has the list words. I'm noticing this for the first time because in previous workbooks, they did not have the cursive version, but now they do. So I don't know if this is the first year that they do it, or if last year, because we didn't get this last year. But I like that they also show how the word looks in cursive. But they have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 words a week. So this is more than the first grade amount for the spelling list, but it's not as much as Memoria Press. Memoria Press will have him do more words than this, but still, I think it'll be fine. And then it gives a definition for each one. It lays it out here, which I like. And then the first day is usually just a pre-test. And then day 2 is, as you can see, and every lesson, every week is a little different, but this is, again, just an example. In lesson 2, they have the words up on top in a box, and they have a cool little word search, which is fun. And then he has to fill in the blanks. So again, it helps him with his vocabulary, making sure he understands what each of the definitions are and what makes sense in the sentence. Day 3, they have the words again on top, and then he has to underline the list that is spelled correctly, write the words that you underlined above. So again, that repetition of writing out the words, and then write the definition from day 1 for the list word, and they give the list word there. Day 4, read each brief definition and write the word below. So he's working again on the vocabulary, and then copy the sentence. So it's copy work. He's copying a sentence here. And then by day 5, he should be able to hopefully get them all right and remember how to spell all the words for the week. So I really like this, and I feel like this is the best spelling program that we have used and that he'll enjoy. Okay, next, I'm excited because this is something that we're adding this year. So this is from Memoria Press. What I got for him this year is a poetry guide. So here's the student guide, poetry for the grammar stage, and poetry teacher guide. I'm actually not too familiar with what's inside. I can't even remember what I saw in the sample pages online. But the reason I got this mostly is because my son has always liked poetry ever since he was as little as I can remember. When I would read him the little stories, little books, he always liked the ones that would rhyme. He really liked Dr. Seuss. There was this Winnie the Pooh book that we had that had a lot of poems in it. Just, you know, any book that had rhyming in it, he really enjoyed. So this year I noticed this on their website, and I was like, I should really get him something with like poetry so we can include those in his lessons. Now I'm just gonna kind of go to a page just to show an example of what he might be doing. So Here, for example, let's see. Here's a poem called The Grasshopper, and it is from the Greek of Anacreon, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and it's translated by Abraham Cowley. Okay, so this is, I'm assuming, a Greek poem that they translated to English. They have a blank space here, and I'm gonna have to look at the teacher's guide to make sure what that is supposed to be used for. I'm assuming it's, you know, them drawing something. And then here on this page is copy work, if you can see that. And it says copy the poem in the space below. Oh, okay, here we go. It says use the box on the previous page to illustrate the poem. So there you go. They are supposed to illustrate. But now on the next page after that, there's vocabulary. And then there's an analyze section. And it says to underline all references to joy or happiness. So they have the poem again, and then they're supposed to underline the references to joy or happiness. And then the page after that are comprehension questions. So they have a list there with some lines for them to write the answers. And that's what I'm seeing on repeat for every poem. So they have a lot of poems in here, I'm noticing. Here, what is this? Okay, they have history in here. That is long. Robin Hood and the Ranger. English ballad. So they have ballads in here. I'm gonna be honest, some of this seems a little advanced. This actually seems like something that would be good for like a 6th grader or 7th grader. So I'm pretty sure I would have seen on the website if it was like under the 3rd grade section, because they have on their website, they separate certain books or programs under grades. I'm sure I would have seen, and it doesn't say on the book, it just says grammar stage. Grammar stage is usually the elementary school. Okay, the video cut out, so I don't know the last thing that I said on video, but I just was gonna say that I'll definitely have to update you on how poetry goes for my 3rd grader. Okay, so I have this nice big box here, and I'm really excited for this. This is something that I did change for writing. So last year for writing, I used the Winning with Writing. It's the same program as the Soaring with Spelling that we're using this year. But this year, drum roll, we're gonna be using IEW. I'm a mess right now. So I think what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna go ahead and do like a whole unboxing video just for this alone, because it does seem like quite a bit in here. It's a whole box of things. I have to activate his online videos, and I have an activation code here to do that. So I have to set that up. I think there's like apparently there's a notebook in here. Here's a notebook. So we're gonna be doing level A. This is the notebook, all the pages are in here. So this also came with Fix-It Grammar. So that's another thing that's totally different. I've never used this before. So it comes with a student book, and it comes with the teacher's manual. I definitely have to just open these up and just give like a full length look through and explain like how this all will work. But basically for the writing, there's gonna be videos that he'll watch with instructions on the writing. And then he has this notebook that he'll be using, and just, you know, lesson through lesson we'll get through that way. And that's kind of nice, because now I feel like now that he's progressing to this stage where he's going to be writing more and like learning how to write paragraphs, it kind of takes a little bit of the weight off of me in teaching him these things. Not that I don't feel like I couldn't do that if I used another program, but it just will be nice to see how he'll do, like watching a teacher, another instructor, teaching them through these lessons, and then him filling out his assignments through that. So I'm looking forward to see how that goes. And I just, from what I saw online and other people's reviews, it just seemed like a very thorough, and I feel like for me, writing is very important, especially as an adult. It's good to know the rules of writing. It's good to know putting your thoughts together to make a cohesive paper. And I just feel like this is something that will really benefit him in the future. And I felt like this program would be a really good fit for him learning all those things. I'm not a huge like college, like that's not my biggest goal for him at the end, unless he decides to do that, go that route. But I do feel like this is still good to know for not just for college, but for there's just a lot of opportunities out there that can call for a good writer. And I just want to make sure he has that under his belt, just in case that's something he can use for his future. And that is it for language arts. Now we're gonna get into math. If you've been watching me, I have not changed math at all. I almost did one time. I got this other program last year just to kind of have it in my hands and look through it and see if I wanted to use it, and I still didn't use it. So I've been using this since preschool, and I'm still using it, still going strong. We're using Singapore Dimensions. Ooh, there's a lot of books in here. So this is not even all of it. There's like other books in here, but just to show you what it looks like here. This is the textbook for 3A, which means it's the first semester. And then there's a 3B for the second semester. And basically there's a textbook and then there's a workbook. So the textbook is usually really colorful. They have all these colorful pictures, and it's more where of an opportunity for me as a teacher to work through the problems with him. And this is where like the concepts are introduced. And then the workbook, I use it more for his own like practice, to do it on his own. If he needs help, I'll help him, but it's just more practice. And it's usually just black and white. Let me see if I can pull it out. I really love the colors they use. Okay, so this is the workbook for 3A. And yeah, this is not colorful, it's just black and white. Sometimes they'll have little illustrations for him to use, but it's all black and white, so that's the difference. And then they all come with tests. Here's 3B, and just to make sure that he's getting it all on his own. And then this box came with the printout. So this is for games, for the activities, just to make sure that he's, you know, either whether you want to see it as like fun practice or just for more practice. That's what these are for. This one is for the first semester, 3A, and then there's one for 3B. I cannot even believe how much paper we have. We better utilize all this. And then lastly, they have the instructor's guide. So this is the home instructor's guide for the first semester. You can see how thick it is. And this is where me as the parent or the teacher, this is where all the answer keys are. And it's also where the instructions are and how to teach the concepts. Also like the games and the things that you can use the printouts for. And this is the instructor's guide for the second semester. And that's everything that's in here. I might do a video just talking about the manipulatives that I want to have for this year, for all the things that he's going to be learning. So stay tuned for that too. Just going to be opening up this next one. Okay. History. What did we get for history? We very much loved the history curriculum we used for second grade, so we're going back to Curiosity Chronicles. We are going to be getting into early modern history. And this year, there's 2 volumes. So this is volume number 1, snapshots of early modern history. This is the main textbook. This is, if you haven't seen my videos already on this, they have 2 kids just talking, just conversing about history, which is really nice, but they have so much good illustrations in this book. And it's not just about the wars, which I know is important to learn for history, but they talk about art, they talk about inventions of that time, they talk about the people and how they lived. They bring up archaeology, they bring up money, they just bring up so many interesting things. And so I really love that. They include map work. There's just so much to this curriculum that I love. So this is the instructor's guide, and this is the student's guide for volume 1. So that goes with the first textbook. And then here is volume 2. It doesn't look much different, but snapshots of early modern history. So there's just so much history, I guess, to go over with this time period. So they have 2 volumes this time. And so here is the student's guide for volume 2 and the instructor's guide for volume 2. And usually they just have a lot of good activities in here. There's crossword puzzles, there's coloring pages, there's comprehension questions, there's timelines, there's vocabulary, there's map work. So, and then there's hands-on projects. Now, in one of my recent videos, I did talk about the hands-on projects and how I did not really utilize those, but I'll see how it goes for this year if they're more doable. We're just not the most arts and craftsy kinds of people, or like art, which a lot of that hands-on activities were like very art-centered. And so I'll see how that goes. But yeah, this year there's a lot more books for this one too. So there's just more books this year. Okay, so now for science, again, I've been using this since preschool and I just don't think I'm ever gonna change this one. It's gonna be hard to beat. I really, really love this program. Look at this big box. It's because I get the science kit that comes with it. So this year I got Elemental Science, and here is the student workbook and here is the teacher's guide. So this year we're gonna be working on chemistry. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm actually kind of dreading this year and this subject. Chemistry is not one of my favorite science subjects. I really love biology, I really love astronomy, I love human anatomy. Everything that has to do with life and Earth is just so cool, it's so fun to learn. Chemistry, it's like, there's math involved, which I don't mind, I like math, but it's like you're trying to mix stuff together and make something new, and I don't know, it's just not something that has always interested me that much. So this program is so good. I'm hoping that it'll bring that enjoyment and that love for learning out of me, even with chemistry. But oh, I'm nervous. So what they do is, it came with an encyclopedia, which is the main text. So this year it's the Usborne Science Encyclopedia, all about chemistry. And so what he does usually is he'll read a page or 2 of the book, and then he will, in the student workbook, he'll have a page where he'll take notes. So for example, this one's talking about the Brownian motion, diffusion, pressure, and temperature. He'll write at least a sentence for each. Then he'll use another day for a demonstration or an experiment. So this, what they call lab report, is called Clicking Coin. And he'll write the tools that he used. He'll either draw a picture, or what I usually do is take a picture and just kind of print it out and paste it there. And he'll write the method we used, then the outcome, and then the insight, what he learned from that. So they're also in this workbook, they have poems, they have charts, they do have quizzes if you want to use those, and they have a glossary. So here's a page of the glossary as an example. And then I usually buy the kit. I recommend that so much if you're like me and you don't like to go to the store like every once in a while to buy the things that you need. A lot of the stuff, I will say, you can usually find at home, which I love about this program. They make it very easy to access things, but I still love to have this just in case we don't have something. That they always have like everything you need for every week. Every demonstration is in here in this science box kit. So I just think it's so convenient to have this. So I recommend getting the kit as well. That is that for science. Last thing, this is more of just an extra thing. So my son last year, we had the Memoria Press Latin program. It was fine. I just felt like, I think that's something that I might go back to when he's a little older, just so that he can know some of the root words for English words. But I feel like this year I want to go back to focusing on Spanish. And so I got the Talkbox.mom box. And so I'm really excited about this because we have used other Spanish programs before as more like workbooks. And usually the workbooks will have book recommendations, they'll have like little art projects and things like that. But this really stood out to me because there's something very different about this. The main thing that I got from this is that they don't just teach you words, like they don't give you a list of words to learn. They don't have you learn grammar, how to conjugate verbs. They don't have you learn colors and numbers and alphabet, you know. They go straight to giving you practical phrases to learn in Spanish so that you could already start talking in Spanish and learn Spanish that way. That to me is huge. That to me is like genius, because I feel like I wish all language learning programs were like that, because that's really how we learned as babies. We learned English or whatever language we learned just through talking, just through hearing all around us, hearing our parents talking to us, and we learned all of those things through just living life. And so that's what I really liked about this, and I'm excited to use it. They have you download this app that has the phrases on there, and they have themes every month, every box. So this first box, the theme is the kitchen or something like that. I'm gonna do a full video on it. I'm gonna go ahead and open the box and show everything that's in there, how it works, and just why I think it's so promising to really learn the language. Spanish is not the only language that they have available. There's actually so many, as you can even see on this box, the different languages on here. Okay, so that is everything that I got for 3rd grade this year. As always, I'm so excited. I love just the feeling of having something new books. And so thank you for watching my video. If you have any questions, please leave them below. I have my son, my toddler here, turning on and off the lights if you see in the background, but I need to get going because he's being needy now. But thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!